I wanted to talk about Trump. I wanted to talk about Trump really quickly, and just this election, this coming election, and some things. This is going to be on YouTube. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, and it's going to be on Facebook. But I wanted to talk to you about this. So I am definitely would be considered pro-Trump. I endorse a candidate. I endorse because I believe that the prophets of old endorsed who God was on. And our nation is in such a pivotal moment that it's time out to be political and worry about a ministry. I don't care if I never get another speaking engagement again. But I know that I'm going to stand and decree what God is saying, and the hand of God is on Trump. The Democratic Party, there's a lot of demons in the Democratic Party, liberals, and there are good Democrats at the bottom level. But at the top level of the Democratic Party, almost every person that's running is pro-abortion, pro-LGBT, extremely LGBT. A lot of them are socialists, and they are against the Constitution. And God's people have to awaken this hour and hear God and hear the trumpet of God. They have to hear what God is saying and not be deceived by the news media. There's going to be an onslaught. There's going to be such spiritual warfare and activity going into this next election. We're entering into it. It's not even started yet. The type of warfare we're about to see, lies in media. I prophesy that I see it. Lies in media, slander, more accusations like the Russian collusion, things like that are going to pop up. And there's going to be such even greater than the first election. And so the church has to get like they did during the first election. We can't fall asleep, but we have to hear what the Lord is saying. And I believe that God has anointed Trump for this hour to expose the demonic power behind the Antichrist spirit. There's an Antichrist agenda at work in America to silence the church, to bring in a socialistic type of government, to stop, to destroy the Constitution. The Second Amendment's under attack. All the different amendments of the Constitution is under attack by the Democratic Party. And so they don't like free speech. They don't like freedom of expression, things like that. They don't like it. And so they want to convince African Americans that Trump is like racist. And so what does this have to do with spiritually? Everything. Because we as the church cannot go on having our little church services like laws aren't being passed in our nation that affect our churches. That law was just passed in California affects the church. Even though it's a resolution, if it became a law, if they got the right president, say they got a Democratic president that was extreme, and then somehow they got a hold of the Congress and the Senate, there will be nothing to stop them from passing these type of laws nationally like they did when they legalized homosexual marriage. There will be no stopping them from passing what they did for that resolution become a law. And then all of a sudden now you have it to where no church, that's what they want, for no church around the nation. Why? Because the spirit behind is the spirit. It says in the last days that it says it will be like Sodom and Gomorrah. What happened in Sodom and Gomorrah? They did not want Lot try to say something against homosexuality, and they didn't give him the right to. So it's the Antichrist spirit that tries to silence the church. And this is the type of movement. And so God wants to bring in the glory. God wants to bring glory into the earth, revival, his power. But that cannot that is going to happen, and it will happen. But I'm telling you, God is doing something. God is doing something through President Trump and in this nation. But we have to open our eyes in the spirit and be able to see what he's doing through. Even if you don't like Trump, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you the hand of God. And I'm telling you the Democratic Party is demonic. I'm telling you that the Democratic Party is out to silence the prophets of God. I'm telling you that that Obama did more bad for the nation than he did good, and that Trump is reversing. God has called Trump in the spirit to reverse what the enemy meant to do for bad. So the enemy wants to take this nation, but I prophesy that this will not happen, and that there's going to be such exposure of the Democratic Party on a national level. There's going to be exposure of the wickedness, the corruption of the Democratic Party, and I see it in the spirit. And God's going to raise up many voices that are going to have a word to say in their spears. So church, wake up. We have to be mantled with intercession, and we have not to be blind, and we have to pray, and we have to intercede, and we have to intercede. We have to intercede, and we have to stand with Donald Trump. We have to stand with righteous conservative politicians. We cannot be asleep, because you will wake up, and we already in America, we don't recognize, but it'll get worse if we act like we don't see anything. We continue to go on with our church programs, and we continue to go on in the charismatic church too. We continue to go on like we don't see anything. We will be like in the time of Jezebel and Ahab. So this is my word for for concerning Trump, concerning what's happening with Trump. It's a smoke screen, and the church needs to stop being blind, and they need to see what God is doing. We have these carnal prophets that have not heard the voice of God, that are saying, Biden and all this stuff, and it's really sad. It's really sad. But God bless you.